everyone. This is the Phoenix Sports Podcast presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Chierstin Susel, alongside Makayla the Grinch Perkins on this lovely Friday. Only a couple more before Christmas. And
it's the same thing. That was not even close. That's Ebenezer Scrooge.
It's the same
what
thing.
What are you doing here?
I'm all of it.
She's all of it. She hates Christmas music.
I hate Christmas music. Hate
Why?
it. It's awful. It's the same thing every single year. It's so repetitive. It's so annoying. Half of it is creepy. Baby, it's cold outside.
Okay,
just let her go home.
I don't like that song.
It's all
we
bad.
As a society
It's
have
all bad.
advanced past that
I
song.
saw Daddy kissing or Mommy kissing Santa Claus. Well, nowadays,
I love that one. I love that one because it shows you. It tells you a lot.
Dad's gonna kiss Santa Claus
over my
too.
head completely. It says a lot about you as a kid and how you viewed that song, because even when I was younger, I was like, this kid's mom's cheating on his dad. I realized that dad was Santa Claus.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
My
Like,
parents
what are we
wouldn't
doing?
let me listen to that Christmas song because they
you thought it was promoting infidelity?
Infidelity, yeah.
That's what I always thought too. What is your actual favorite Christmas song? Chierstin. I'm not going to ask Matt because she is the
It's
Grinch.
all bad. It's all garbage.
That's not true because there is a right answer.
Dang it. There's one right answer?
In my mind.
What is it?
Last Christmas by Wham. That shit goes crazy.
Last Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that song.
Garbage.
I don't know. I like all of them, honestly, except for the two that I just named. But
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Only
a hippopotamus will do. I don't want no toys.
No,
I like that
so
song.
annoying, obnoxious, the stupidest song that's ever been made.
You know what's
I love
not
that
obnoxious?
Charles Woodall Pike and Daniel both agree with me. Sorry, I just have to make sure that there's other people out there that hate Christmas music as much as I do. That's all.
I hate Christmas music from December 26th to the third Friday of every.
I agree. Once Christmas hits, it's done.
I do enjoy the Christmas songs that they sing in church on Christmas Eve service.
That was my favorite part of going
I'll
to
listen to
Catholic
those.
school, is singing Christmas songs. Shit sounds so good. Singing in a church is amazing. It is the vocals there are crazy.
Okay,
acoustics.
You've gone completely off the rails.
Okay, what I was gonna say is something that Makayla does love is the Four Peaks Holiday Cheers box. Would you like to do us the honors of punching through the
Yes,
Advent calendar?
I love Advent
for
calendars.
the 9th of December.
No.
What?
Sons, they can do it.
No, they don't.
Shane
go
just
till
said we
later.
can't
That's
do
too
it.
bad. They haven't done 8 yet. They can do 8.
Excuse me, we have one show.
I was
a
gonna
week.
say it is only one show a week.
And I love Advent calendars. My mom can attest to this.
What do we have for the 9th?
For the 9th, we have
Double Knot?
Double Knot IPA. They knew it was me opening it. They know how much I love IPAs. Good old Double Knot.
Love it, love it, love it. Stick that in the fridge. We'll just break
fan.
it open after.
No,
the
you got to
show.
put it back in the box and make it look like it wasn't open.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Hide
Sons
it
can
for the
reopen
Suns.
it. Yeah,
Hide it for
we'll
the
make it look
Suns.
like we did.
Nobody tell. Nobody tell. Okay? Let them think that they were the first.
It's really cool, though. You can pick yours up from Four Peaks if you want one. Look at how cool it is.
They do have a limited supply of these Advent calendar boxes, though. Again, you got a different beer for every day of December, which is amazing. They're $55. Enjoy their specialty beers, tall boys, and more. You can purchase them at their 8th Street pub in Tempe.
So fun. The
Love it.
22nd is my birthday, and I want to punch that one out, too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know.
I think if you
little
did it ahead of
birthday
time,
cheer.
people would forgive you for that.
Yeah,
but-
I feel like
true.
that is.
It's my
a fair
birthday. I can do
reason.
what I want. Someone else's birthday, Will's birthday. Happy birthday, Will.
Happy birthday.
It's not just
so
well.
fun.
It's not Will's birthday here, if I'm understanding correctly. It is
What?
Will's birthday where he is in Melbourne, Australia, because it is tomorrow.
You're watching
in
from Australia?
It seems like what he was saying. Yes, it's tomorrow here in Melbourne. I haven't slept. What a blessing it is. I saw the notifications.
Wow, international viewer. What's up, Will?
Wait a second.
So happy
I
early
saw the
birthday.
notification for this to come on. I love like, oh my gosh, thanks, Will.
That's awesome. So good day,
Happy
mate.
bir-
Put some shrimp on the bobby.
Whoa! You're gonna come out here and insult this man. I also have beef with your mom now, Mac.
Why?
Because she's saying that Wham
Wham
sucks.
sucks. Yeah, my mom's not a Christmas music person either. You guys
Oh.
know where I get my personality from. It's literally just me and my mom. I'm reincarnated version of my mother. Okay.
we did have some big news, and we want to kind of at least address it and say that we're thrilled to have Brittney Griner back safely, and acknowledge that before we get into some fun stuff, because man, it was a long time, almost 10 months that she was detained in Russia, and everybody has different opinions of it, but we are so thrilled and happy for her family, and now she gets to start the process of healing, and I can't imagine the difficult road that she still has ahead of her when it comes to that. But wow, 294 days later, she is now back home, and we're just so thrilled that she's back.
Yeah, absolutely. Overjoyed that she is back home safe. She landed in the United States late last night, so glad she's back on American soil, and glad that she can start that healing process that Chierstin mentioned, and that her wife gets to be with her for the holiday season as well.
One more thing to add, her wife, Sherelle, such a symbol of strength through this entire thing, and her speech yesterday, or address yesterday at the White House, was commendable, that she was able to hold herself together. Speaking at the White House is a big deal, and she's been through so much, to hold it together and to speak as eloquently as she did, and recognize everyone that helped bring BG home, as well as the Whelan family who's still fighting to bring their loved one home, and to say that she and Brittney are going to help in the fight to bring all Americans home that are wrongly detained elsewhere. So just commend them for that as well.
Bring them back. Bring them all back.
All right, let's get into our segment of the day, Down in the DMs. I love when we do this, because I love to hear what other people want us to talk about. What questions do you guys have? It's all about you guys anyways.
We got a lot of questions, so thank you guys so much for sending them in. If at any time you have a question during the show, drop it in the chat and put some question marks by it so we know you want us to answer it, and we will do our best to answer your questions. But thank you all for your questions. There were so many. I was like, let's go.
Shall we get into them?
Let's do it.
All right, Lojo Deportes. We can find that one, Sean. When it comes to the Suns and Coyotes performances this week, can we just change the subject?
That is a great question. And we will change the subject after we answer your question.
All right.
It was a bad week.
From Lojo Deportes. And yeah, we would all just kind of like to just turn the page on this one. I would say the Coyotes and Suns are in two wildly different places. So obviously there's one team whose performances hit a little harder and differently. The Coyotes, I will say, we could probably just brush past them. Like, listen, they were on a 14-game road trip. It's hard to win on the road. It's hard to win when you're playing that many games on the road. I think it tied for an NHL record for most consecutive road games in NHL history.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't happen. So, it is what it is, and their expectations, the expectations that have been placed on them from an outside perspective, are pretty low anyway. So they only won 1 of 11 of their last games on that 14-game road trip. They're back at home finally tonight, but and then they closed it out with a pretty bad loss to Edmonton. So it's just like
8-2.
Yeah.
Ouch.
What do you even say about that?
I don't know. That's rough. I mean, like you said, the Coyotes and the Suns are in wildly different categories. So to me, it's a little bit easier to feel okay about winning the last 11 of their 14 on the road, because I don't expect the Coyotes to go out there and shut teams out night in and night out and win and put up impressive, like, remarkable things on the ice, because it's the Coyotes. Like, we're very realistic about where they're at. They're in a rebuild right now.
I think they're still ahead of the Blackhawks, though, which we're all talking about lottery here. They're still ahead of the Blackhawks,
which isn't great, because hashtag shit the Bedard.
How did they lose that many games and still are ahead of the Blackhawks?
The team that the Yotes really have to worry about is the Anaheim Ducks. They are, and I cannot say this with enough emphasis, bad at hockey. They are currently 7-17-3 with 17 points. Blackhawks have 18. Blue Jackets also have 18. So it's not. There's a little bit of competition.
And
then the Coyotes have 18.
Didn't the Blue Jackets lose by like 8 goals to the Sabres?
No, they lost 9-4. Yeah. I can talk about that. But the thing about the Anaheim Ducks is they have played 27 games already. The Coyotes have played 24, and the Ducks have one less point. So they have a few games in hand and are still behind the Coyotes.
So maybe it's a good thing that the Coyotes lost that many games because we want them to get the first overall pick. So it's okay. We're fine with it, right?
The Suns, on the other hand.
No.
So they lost big to Dallas, which we hate to see. And then
Literally
they followed it up.
Much.
It was like, man, just throw away the tape, move on from that. That was just a bad game. And then you have another litmus test of where this team is at against Boston, who also has something to prove and had controversy and adversity this season already that could have either made or broke them. Made or braked them.
Breaking them.
Could have made them or broken them, however you want to say it. And they are firing on all cylinders and completely embarrassed the Suns. I mean, completely embarrassed them. So in those two losses this week, they lost by a combined 46 points, and that includes a combined 53-point deficit at halftime.
Ugh.
Again, combined, but it's not good.
Yeah, that's not good, to say the least. I mean, that's not what I want to see from the Phoenix Suns. Like, I've been saying this all along. Their championship window is closing very rapidly. Like, if it's not this season, I don't know where you go from there. So, obviously, they've had some injuries that they've been struggling with.
Well, Chris Paul returned in this Boston game, and it didn't make a difference.
Did not make a difference. It did not go well.
Again, that's his first game back, and he was out for as long as the Coyotes were on the road for.
This is also true. These are facts. But yeah, I mean, the Dallas loss hurt because I hate the Mavericks so much. Like, they infuriate me on a soul deep level. So obviously that wasn't
Luka,
great.
Like, he gets under my skin, and
he really bothers me.
I hate to admit it because I think that's what they love to hear, but he gets under my skin.
I have some sources that have informed me that Luka is a hoe.
Can confirm Luka is a hoe. So obviously you never want to see them lose to Dallas just because I don't know what Dallas does. Just everything they do just makes me angry. And then that loss to Boston was just absurd. Like, that was such a bad game. Like,
they were without Al Horford too.
There was nothing I could point to in that Boston game where I was like, oh, it's okay. It was all bad. It was all bad. So
it ticks me off because they're like losses that like defeat your soul.
Yeah. That like hurt, like on a physical level.
Like, have some pride in what you're doing.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, you're not going to win every game and you might have like a bad game here and there or whatever, but to lose the way that you lost to two contenders in Dallas, potential contenders in Dallas and Boston, where's your sense of pride? Like, what are we doing here?
I think it also hurts too because we in Phoenix know that the national media generally overlooks the Phoenix market, the Phoenix sports teams in general. But when they do make waves and they are good and then like something goes wrong, like they just dogpile on whatever is going wrong. And so it always makes me nervous because I know the next day, like after a bad game, I'm going to turn on like whatever show on ESPN and they're going to be like, the Phoenix Suns are a fraud. And it's like, oh, like I don't want to listen to this.
Chris says, Chierstin is ticked. Yes, I'm ticked.
The good news is they play the Pelicans tonight. So they do have a chance to redeem themselves because that is going to be an important game to.
If they go and blow another game and lose by a ton for some reason, and that's their whole week, like, I'm out. I'm going to need some time away from the Suns before I can recoup and start watching games again. But hey, listen, it's still like early enough in the season where they can certainly right the ship. They can certainly, I hate it because people are now having the conversation of whether or not Chris Paul's washed, and that's another whole other thing, and whatever. So I won't get into that. But this team is going to have to make some serious changes, adjustments. We already know that they're looking to bring somebody else on, but with where they're at now, I thought at one point here, I was like, and I hate to like ride the emotional roller coaster with them, but I really thought at one point, I was like, man, this team without even like making any changes is going to be a contender. Like, and so people made the argument too that like, well, they didn't make any improvements from last year to this year. And I'm like, well, I felt like they were a contender last year. Did they like what all do they really need to do? So that was sort of my mindset, especially when they were, kind of firing on all cylinders at one point. Then you have injuries and things like that blow things up. But I could talk about this forever. I'm really frustrated though, and I hope that they can just right the ship tonight as a get right game opportunity for them.
Yeah.
And move forward.
They play New Orleans again on Sunday as well. We'll point that out in the chat. So this is an important two stretches of games. They could redeem themselves a little bit here in my eyes. Daniel saying this won't be the roster in a month. They will be fine. Yeah, I definitely expect the Suns to make changes. They have to. Like, they don't have a choice. If they want to compete this year and they want to make a deep run in the playoffs, they have to make some changes on their roster. So I definitely think I agree with Daniel. This isn't going to be what it's going to be. Brian proposing quite the ultimatum: Christmas music or watch the last two Suns games. I honestly think I would rather go back and watch those two Suns games and listen to Christmas music. That is how much I hate Christmas music, you guys.
Like, that's a question specifically for Makayla, because I don't mind Christmas music.
I'll happily listen to Christmas music.
It is a deep-rooted, like, genetic in my DNA hate. Like, I can't do it. So I would honestly rather watch the Suns get blown out in the last two games again than listen to Christmas music. It's so bad.
I don't know how to say this person's name, but they say on the positive side, Josh Okogie's starting to hit shots and Dilly is way better than expected. There are some really big bright spots on the bench.
Damian Lee is definitely one of them. Yeah. I am shooketh to my core about Damian Lee in the best way possible. Like, I am so glad that he's wearing a Suns uniform this year. He has been a pleasant surprise, to say the least.
I'm sorry to get us off topic again. This is an interesting question. Is the Grinch considered Xmas music? As the Grinch, do you like the Grinch song?
No.
Or is it still Christmas music?
It's all bad.
That's interesting.
Mr. Grinch.
It's all bad.
Like your theme song.
It's all so annoying. It's just horrible.
That's crazy. Do you like Christmas movies?
No, not really.
That's unbelievable.
They're so cheesy. I can tell you what's going to happen.
Charlie Brown Christmas? The Charlie Brown Christmas tree? What are we talking about?
The Grinch is fine. I'll watch the
Christmas
Grinch,
story?
but I've seen it so many times.
Come on.
I wasn't allowed to watch the Grinch.
I'm not surprised at all. If you guys don't know, if you haven't been watching this show for a while, Chierstin was the most sheltered child on the face of the planet.
There's this song where what's-her-face, Cindy Lou Who, sang the Where Are You Christmas song, and my mom was like, that's horrible!
The most sheltered child I've ever met in my life.
All right, moving on. Elf is a great movie. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay,
we boycott if she hates Elf. Elf is fine. Don't shoot me. I've seen it enough to not want to watch it again.
That's crazy.
But it is a good movie. I don't need to watch it ever again.
Have you
seen
It's a Wonderful Life? I can't straighten my head.
Yes, I've seen all of them. Against my will, but yes, I have. Elf is funny. It's funny. I'm just not going to watch it again, okay? Jeez, don't cancel me. All right, moving on.
All right, next question. Sean, is it better for you to pick the questions, or
you can tell me what you want and I can find it.
When will the NCAA drop the inevitable sanctions hammer on ASU for all of their COVID recruiting violations under Herm? And when that does happen, will they fire Ray Anderson for lack of institutional control? That is Todd in Phoenix asking a two-part question. Mac, do you want to take a first crack at this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know if it's necessarily going to be a hammer. I think the sanctions, I think they've already received a couple, right? They've imposed the 12 scholarship reductions, and they've had other recruiting sanctions as well.
I was trying to make a case. I messed you up. I set you up for failure on that one.
Thanks.
So that was Tennessee that we were comparing.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah.
So they have not done any self-imposed sanctions. So you can make a case as to like, why haven't they done that? Because if you compare it to Tennessee, who basically got cracked for the same thing, exact thing.
Which, if people don't know, is essentially having recruits on campus during the COVID recruiting dead period.
Correct.
Which is what both schools did.
And so they went ahead and are like, okay, we're going to self-impose 12 scholarship reductions, and then we're going to self-impose other recruiting restrictions on us. We saw something similar happen to U of A when their basketball program was in hot water, and they decided they were going to place a postseason ban on themselves and kind of get ahead of what was to come, because then you could also make a case of like, listen, we've already paid our dues or paid some of our dues, and therefore maybe you should be a little lighter on us, or we can just say you've done enough and we can just move on. And so we haven't seen ASU do that. And
but to be fair, none of the coaches that were here when that was going on are here anymore.
With the exception of Sean Aguano.
Yes, with the exception of Sean Aguano.
But he was just running backs coach at that time.
But that's the same situation over at Tennessee as well. So I just think it's interesting. I feel like ASU had an opportunity to get ahead of this coming into this year, because what were really the expectations of this season? We've known that Herm Edwards was just he wasn't the future, right? Like we didn't maybe know that he was going to get fired exactly when he was going to get fired after having an atrocious loss at the beginning of the year, but it's just probably going to be his last year if he did finish out the season. So why not go into it and just self-impose a few things?
Yeah.
And you're going to have recruiting issues anyway this season or in the off season or whatever, because you've got this thing hanging over you anyway. Why don't you just self-impose and try to get ahead of it? And they haven't done that. And I don't know if that's going to backfire or if this whole thing's just going to go away, but it's still looming. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen either. I have a feeling that I don't know. It's a tough call because I think ASU could have helped themselves out if they had done the self-imposed sanction route, but obviously they didn't. So I don't know if that is going to be in the back of the NCAA's mind when they're deciding what they want to do to ASU, or if that didn't make any difference at all. I generally don't know, but I don't. When it comes to Ray Anderson, because there was a second part of that question, if they're going to fire Ray Anderson for his lack of institutional control, I also don't. I don't know if you will or if you can't. Like, I think I think Ray Anderson is in a good place right now because everyone's really excited about his Kenny Dillingham hire, and I think the narrative has kind of been pushed away from him in a sense. So I don't really know exactly what is going to happen.
It's interesting because you look at Tennessee, they managed to avoid getting charged with lack of institutional control, in part because of like you mentioned, the self-imposed scholarship restrictions and stuff like that. But they also the NCAA went out of their way to basically compliment Tennessee on the extent to which they cooperated with the investigation.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that ASU could do to kind of help themselves out. But the funny thing is if they had self-imposed a bowl ban and a scholarship ban, you know what would be different? Literally nothing, because they didn't make a bowl and
That's
they didn't use all their scholarships. Like, they had no one signed.
And the expectations weren't there either.
Yeah, so I guess maybe they could come out now and be like, "Hey, I don't know if you knew this, but we imposed a bowl ban last year. And that's why we weren't in a bowl." It is going to be very interesting, but like you said, I don't expect much of anything to happen. Like, there's not a whole lot that came out of the Tennessee thing. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, to be quite honest. There's going to be some stuff, but the fact that all the coaches are gone, I think, is very big.
Yeah.
I think that is going to soften the blow of any punishment that does come. Yeah,
absolutely. People in the comments are being very funny today. ASU had dropped punishment on themselves for keeping Anderson from Brian. That's a funny one. Geoff saying, isn't having Herm as your coach for 4 years enough of a punishment? Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, and I also, to add to that last question, about Ray Anderson, I think when it comes to ASU and I think when it comes to any Pac-12 school, what do they tout? It's like we're more than just football, right? And we're an Olympic conference, and
the Conference of Champions.
In the Conference of Champions, but we promote here in this side of the country more than just football, right? Like, so when you take a look at what Ray Anderson's done, he has had big accomplishments in other sports. You just take a look at what he's done with ASU hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that his resume extends far beyond just football. And I think that since we're not an SEC school, like, that flies for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hit, you speaking my language, Chierstin, because that's one thing I've tried to drive home to ASU fans is that I understand there's frustration with the football team, but
there's other sports.
Ray Anderson has not done a bad job as athletic director. Everything else has been successful. And
a lot of the credit of getting the Coyotes deal negotiated with Mullet lies on Ray Anderson's shoulders. That's huge for ASU. Like, I know it looks bad for the Coyotes and it's not great for the NHL, but for a collegiate hockey program to be sharing an arena with an NHL team, like, that's huge for ASU.
Getting hockey to be an NCAA sport.
Well, and also, and then building that relationship with the Coyotes. So if the Coyotes Tempe Arena deal happens and then ASU basketball can move in there, and they decide that they can share that with the ASU basketball team because the hockey arena went so well, that's also huge, and that'll be another notch that Ray Anderson has on his belt.
Yeah, Joe does make the point that hockey wouldn't exist without the Mullet family, so it was kind of a gift to him. But I do think that just sitting here and pretending that Ray Anderson is just a bad AD is just like downright disrespectful to all the other teams. Like, we don't have one of the best wrestling programs in the country.
Swimming,
like
track and field.
The triathlon, they're like 6 times,
NCAA champion. Like, basically every program, with the exception of
the biggest, most important.
Every program right now, I would argue, is on a trajectory. Is going in the right direction.
Yeah, the ASU basketball team, men's basketball team looks incredible.
But like, baseball's gotten better. Baseball was one of this school's legacy programs, and it was bad for a while. But now they have a program legend coaching them. Like, I think he's doing all the right things.
Yeah, baseball's definitely back on the right track. Like, they didn't have any alumni involvement when what's his nuts was here.
HK, who cares?
Yeah, HK, who cares? The other Tracy Smith. They didn't have any alumni involvement from anyone basically when Tracy Smith was head coach. Like, there was a bunch of negativity surrounding that program, and it's gotten so much better now that Willie's there. They've gotten so much more alumni involved. They gotten so many more donors involved. Like, it's crazy with the baseball
basketball's
program,
9-1 right now.
Yeah, basketball's 9-1.
Women's basketball not doing great, but we got a new coach. It's a rebuild.
Yes, it's a rebuild. So yeah, I don't know. The Ray thing is a little hard. Obviously, the Herm hire wasn't great, and you could point to nepotism or whatever with that whole ordeal.
If this Kenny thing doesn't go right, he needs to be exiled from the state, because that's his last chance. This has to go relatively.
But there
well.
also has to be a grace period. Like, his first year, like, I don't know what to expect from his first year because he's so young, and this recruiting thing is going to be interesting to see how ASU can kind of salvage themselves. So, I mean, ASU has to be graceful.
It's hard to hire a college football coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's really hard to get that right.
Just remember, once Kenny Dillingham misses a bowl for 5 straight years, and you're like, fire Ray Anderson.
What?
Misses a bowl.
Oh, misses a bowl
for 5 straight years, and everyone's like, Ray Anderson. Remember that you're lying to yourself, because you also thought the Kenny Dillingham hire was good. I'm not talking to either of you. I'm talking to the viewers. You thought the Kenny Dillingham hire was good. So if you're going to sit here and complain later on, look yourself in the mirror.
Yes. Talking about ASU fires me up, but it also sometimes stresses me out, which is why OGs are perfect. If you also want to get in on this OGs action, which I can't recommend enough because they are the best tasting THC scratch-made gummies in the state of Arizona, then you've got to go to your local dispensary and pick some up. I highly recommend the orange creamsicle flavor. It is my absolute favorite, but they have also a ton of other great flavors as well. They have microdose options in the 3 milligram version, so if you don't want to like jump off the deep end with a 10 milligram, the microdose options are great. They have sleep edition gummies now that help you fall asleep and stay asleep, and they're also delicious. They're aquaberry flavored. So, they've got everything for anyone in whatever you might need in the THC world, and I can't recommend them enough. They taste incredible.
I'm going to throw Sean under the bus a little bit, but while we were show prepping yesterday, Sean comes into the office and he's like, hey, I'm going to go see Black Panther. Max, do you have any OG's gummies?
That is true, and we're going to see Black Panther today, so...
Still needs those OG gummies.
Max isn't in the office. I might have to go snooping.
Max has OG's stash
everywhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah. But if you are going to partake in the OG's fun and you find them at your local dispensary, you must be 21 years or older to enjoy. And that's that. All right, let's get into our next question. We're going to do a little holiday section here. So Charles Woodall Pike coming in with a great question. Besides a championship, if all the Arizona teams were making their holiday wish list, what would be their number one thing each team would ask for right now? Great question. Freaking love it. Thank you, Charles Woodall Pike. The Cardinals, let's start with the Cardinals because we haven't talked about the Cardinals yet. I think this one's pretty easy. If I were making a wish list for the Cardinals, the number one thing and the only thing I would put up on it is a new head coach.
That is the most glaring thing. You could also, that's
and a new GM. A new GM is second.
You could add a new GM.
I was a pretty humble kid when I was younger. I know that saying you're humble is like the least humble thing ever, but I didn't like asking my mom for big things. I knew she was a hardworking woman, had 2 other kids to pay for, so I'll take the coach. But if she surprised me with like the big flat screen TV and fired the GM, I wouldn't complain about it. See,
I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're both so equally bad, but I feel like a coach, for me personally, I just want a new coach. Like, I know the GM is also not great, and I would also love a new GM, but for right now, I just want to see a new coach in there.
Do you trust the GM to make that hire?
No.
New hire though.
So okay, maybe we'll switch it around. Chierstin, what would be your number one thing for the Cardinals wish list?
Yeah, for me, I would take either one of them, but they need a new head coach. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, gotta make a coaching change, and so, like, that for me is, like, number one for the Cardinals.
I will also say that when I was younger, you get clothes for Christmas, and it's cool, but you want toys. Now I am older, and if someone gets me clothes for Christmas, I very much appreciate it. So let's get some new jerseys.
Oh,
please.
Yeah, that's a good one. That would be the third thing. Yeah, new Cardinals jerseys for sure.
Why do I just feel like we talk about this every
time?
Because it is the easiest fix. Like, I understand firing your GM and your coach and your quarterback, all that, pretty difficult. A lot of money tied in. Just get new jerseys. Make everybody happy for a little bit. Everyone will forget about it. We'll forget about the coaching for a little bit.
It's like putting lipstick on a pig, but I'll take it.
It is. At least the pig is prettier.
Yeah. So if we're making a list for the Cardinals this holiday season, we're going to be putting a new head coach, a new general manager, and some new uniforms on the list for the Cardinals. I think that's a pretty good list. Moving right along to the Coyotes. And you guys can play along with us too in the comments. Drop what you would wish for your teams as well. For the Coyotes, for me, the most important thing that I would want to ask Santa for the Coyotes is just like the arena to be done, built, ready to go. They can start playing in it this season because I am so tired. Yes, I am so tired of Canadian hockey fans saying that we're a poverty franchise and we play in a barn smaller than their hockey team in Minnesota, their high school hockey team in Minnesota. Like, I don't care. I'm tired of it. I'm so done. Like, I just wanted the Coyotes arena to be done, built. They can move in there and it can be amazing and we're ready to go. So that's my wish for the Coyotes.
I simply want it to get passed and them to just put a shovel in the ground and start moving toward it, which...
Hey, we're really asking Santa for anything. You can go hypothetical. You can go big.
I understand that clearly because that arena is definitely not going to be built by next season. But I am thinking my approach was just a little more realistic. I just want to make sure that they do have a home in the next few years and that we are heading in the right direction. Because if for some reason the residents do not pass this in May, do I think that the Coyotes have a backup plan? Absolutely. You have to. You have to when it comes to business. But... they've got a backup plan.
I hope so. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about a backup plan.
Could you imagine May comes, the vote fails, and they're like,
no, listen, we're talking about a franchise that got kicked out of their arena in Glendale and didn't have anywhere to go.
No.
Yeah, but you're giving...
They had nowhere to go.
The city of Glendale enough blame.
They had to FITFO so hard when Glendale evicted them. Like, it was unreal. Like, there was like the Tempe Memorial, the Memorial Coliseum. Like, oh shit. Like, are we gonna like try different like arenas around the valley? Like, what are like Tucson? Like, it was scary. So forgive me for not thinking they have a backup plan.
First off, these people are businessmen through and through, and they are not going to set themselves up in a situation where they are caught with their pants down in May and have no idea of what they're going to do.
Also, even if this thing fails in May, they still have 2 to 3 years left in mullet, so they have time to figure out a plan if they don't for some reason have one. But I have a hard time.
We don't know about it, but there's another plan. There's a backup plan.
To get back to the Coyotes question, though, I'm going to be generous with my Christmas wish, do a little, holiday charity, and all I want for Christmas is a goaltender for the Anaheim Ducks so they can get out of our fucking way. Get out of our way.
The Anaheim Ducks need to be better so we can tank harder. I love that.
I'm just in a very giving mood. I don't want anything for us. I just want something for them.
Okay, there you go.
Is it Jeff or Geoff?
It's Jeff.
It's Geoff.
And also,
it's a German name.
It's Jeff. And also, I want to address this because we've before, and y'all forgot. Where is it? The name that's backwards. It's Ted Lubin. He just has his text.
Okay. Well, anyway, can you scroll back down, please, producer? Geoff. I'm gonna keep calling him Geoff. I don't care. Coyotes need to find money for Austin Matthews. Yeah, that would be another thing I would put on their Christmas wish list. Would be securing Austin Matthews when they get their new arena.
You got that's for a different Christmas.
That's for like Christmas in like 4 years. Yeah, Bedard would be a good one. Just like guaranteed Bedard. Shout out to AJ Hayfley. He is the DNVR Avalanche reporter from our sister station in Denver. Thanks for watching, AJ. I miss you.
Thanks for laughing at us.
Yeah, AJ loves laughing at the Coyotes. It's like his favorite pastime in the whole world. Obviously, he has this sweet life by covering a Stanley Cup champion team. Shout out to the Avs. But
we're not all as fortunate.
We're not all as fortunate as you are, AJ. Okay, we're working with what we got.
Coyotes. We love our hockey in the desert. Okay.
I was gonna try and talk shit by saying how are the Broncos doing, but that some people would be catching some strays if I were to be doing that.
Yeah, don't even go there. We're not even gonna talk about it. All right. Suns. Someone already said what I was gonna say. I was gonna say KD. Just get KD to the Valley. Bring KD here right now, right freaking now. Give me Kevin Durant or give me death. I wish Kevin Durant for the Suns.
I was gonna say just. I was going to be a little more realistic. They're getting death.
He said they're getting death. Espo does not believe the Suns will be getting Kevin Durant.
Another guard, maybe. Just something.
Another what?
A guard.
Well, I wouldn't have said guard. I was all for this power forward. But now Chris Paul is, like...
You guys are thinking
too small. Not that I don't like campaign, but geez,
I'm not thinking small. I'm being realistic.
You can ask Santa for anything.
Yeah, but he's not going to bring you everything. You start, that's how you make the Christmas list. You start with I want the unicorn, I want a truck, and then I also want a T-shirt.
That's true. That's a good way to start.
You put the big stuff top, and then you got to work your way down to the more realistic stuff.
I know this isn't real, but the other thing I was going to ask for the Suns, because I'm just playing the very hypothetical game here, is just anti-injury players for the rest of the season. No more injuries.
How about a great owner?
No more injuries. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, a new owner. That's amazing. They need one of those for sure.
You know what? I like that one.
What? You're going to go with a new owner for the Suns?
Not a new owner. They're going to get a new owner. A great owner.
There you go. That is a good one. I love that. They definitely need that as well. So we're going to go Kevin Durant, no injuries for the rest of the season, and a great owner. Specifically,
and Boosty says wish an MVP season from Booker, but what he's already on that trajectory. He's an MVP caliber player in general.
Mm-hmm.
Although the game against Boston didn't do him any favors in that category because of who he was up against. But what does that do for the Suns if Devin Booker gets an MVP nod? It doesn't do anything for them. So. But Boosty, you can ask for whatever you want. I
mean, I'm also happy with Devin Booker getting an MVP award.
That's not what I'm asking for, though.
Yeah, that's not the top of my priority list. It would be great to see because recognition is deserved there. All right, let's round this out with the Diamondbacks. For the Diamondbacks, I'm asking for a brand new, fully loaded, souped out, foolproof bullpen.
Inject it.
For the love of God, can we please have a competent bullpen this next season? I swear to all things good and holy, if I have to watch another Diamondback season where they're actually mildly pretty competitive and their bullpen blows it night in and night out, I'm going to lose my mind.
Their bullpen scarred me.
I can't do it.
There's legitimate emotional trauma.
I can't do it. The Diamondbacks lost a good chunk of their games solely because of the bullpen. Only and truly only because of the bullpen. So if I have to suffer through another season like that again, I'm going to lose my mind.
I don't want that for Tori.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Oh my
Shout
God.
out Mariah Carey. I don't want a lot for Christmas. All I want. I don't need a good bullpen. I just need a bullpen that's not god awful. Just record bad bullpen. I need just a semi okay. Me, Mac, and Chierstin out there throwing.
I need 5 to 8 incredible lights out bullpen pitchers to heal the emotional trauma that I suffered.
I thought you were gonna say outings, and I was like,
no,
pitchers.
I'm talking fully souped up, decked out, ready to go, never gonna fail. All star freaking bullpen, and all of our all-star representatives are bullpen pitchers. That is what I want to see for the Diamondbacks. No, just kidding. Obviously, they need a couple other things. They need a catcher. They need a right-handed power batter. They need
someone to
starting pitcher.
Madison Bumgarner out to pasture.
Oh my God. Okay, that's going to be my second thing. Anybody, literally anyone, to replace Madison Bumgarner. Please, can we send Madison Bumgarner off into the sunset?
Shirtless Derek out here somewhere.
Early retirement. I don't care. I'm sorry, Madison Bumgarner. I'm warming up the bullpen cart. I'm coming to pick you up. I'm driving you out of town, and I'm dropping you off at the nearest horse ranch outside of the city limits.
Buffalo Chip in Cave Creek. Have at it. They've got some nights they've got amateur bull riding. Although he's a pro, so he doesn't even need that.
Well, if he needs pro bull riding, Gila River Arena. That's all they got going.
Gila River. There you go.
Excuse me, Desert Diamond.
Desert Diamond now.
Yeah, literally anything besides Madison Bumgarner, the bullpen. Like, whatever we have to do to fix it, we're gonna like it needs to be fixed. The good thing though is like their outfield looks amazing, and they've got lots of exciting young guys up there. So at least we've got that going for us.
Honorable mentions: bring back the teal.
Yes,
purple.
Bring back teal and purple,
and bring back Ketel Marte's talent. Not sure where that went.
Yep, that would be
also
good too.
maybe get him just like working hamstrings.
Okay.
Any of that.
Those are good. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, just
I think we've about covered all of it.
I also wouldn't mind a new owner, but that's a discussion for another day. Anything else?
No,
Love
now
that.
We've really covered all of it.
Yeah. I think we got the Diamondbacks covered for Christmas. Let's do another holiday question from Elizabeth. Who's getting coal in their stocking for being the biggest villain of the year towards an Arizona player or team? I think this one's pretty easy for us.
Yeah,
I think
and
we
I
have
don't
the
even
same.
want to say his name for more than 2 minutes. So let's just say Pat Bev.
Patrick Bev.
If anyone's a hoe, I think it's Pat Bev. But
yeah, that's also a good
one. But the thing is, yeah, Pat Bev's annoying, but also Lakers are trash. I mean, they've been kind of good recently. For me, it's Luka. Luka is the king hoe.
You're giving Luka coal?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fair.
Pat Bev's like an annoying little brother. He's going to bother you, but he's not really in your way.
Yeah, but
Luka consistently
Pat Bev was the annoying little brother before, but now he plays for the Lakers, and he's like this horrendous.
One crossed the line, and one's just a competitor that gets under our skin because there's the draft thing that I won't get into that gets under people's skin, but then also it just gets under our skin because he's good in general. And like that, and I'm one of those people, but Pat Bev crossed the line, and that is something that I can't forgive. Yeah. And
fair.
Also
Pat Bev sucks, and Luka is very good. So it's a little bit easier to.
At least you can enjoy watching Luka.
Yeah, at least Luka is good and can back up anything that he does on the court. Patrick Beverley is washed and horrible and not very good. So Patrick Beverley is worse in my opinion.
Patrick Peterson, honorable mention.
Yes, Will saying Patrick Peterson. Definitely getting Cole from Santa this year from Arizona sports fans. Absolutely.
I also want to give Cole to the entire city of Glendale. Well, not the entire city. There's some good people there. The city of Glendale is just like politicians, I guess.
Say that sentence again.
City of Glendale's politicians. Just anybody involved with anything that had to do with the arena situation. Glendale deserves Cole.
I mean, to be fair, the Coyotes did kind of screw themselves over in that situation.
No, they did. But also Glendale didn't help.
I mean, if I was Glendale, I also would have evicted the Coyotes. They weren't paying their rent or their taxes. Like, you got to go. Like, you got to pay your rent and you got to pay your taxes. Like, if you're not, don't mess with my bag. Get out. So I would have done the same.
Oh. Give Herm Edwards Cole.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
Yep. We can give Herm some Cole. That makes me sad, though, because I love Herm as a human being.
He's a good person.
I like him.
Even good people mess up sometimes.
Someone said give Michael Bidwell Cole for those 5-year extensions. I am so pro that. I absolutely agree. Michael Bidwell is getting Cole this year because those extensions were ridiculous.
Give all of them Cole.
Not earned in the slightest. So I agree with you on that. Anyone else getting Cole from us this year? Teams?
Teams?
Yeah. Anyone that personally
the
victimized
Dodgers?
us?
Just
always. The Dodgers always get Cole. I think that's it. The Dodgers, the Lakers.
Jacob Chikrin?
Oh,
he deserves Cole. He's been playing well recently, which is good because it boosts his trade value.
Out?
But yeah, he's kind of been a little bit of a meanie head.
A meanie head?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Now you're starting to wear off on me, Chierstin. I'm trying to be a good person.
I was just about to say, man, I'm gonna start using that word.
Oh, Jay Crowder. Boosty said Jay Crowder.
Yeah,
yes, thank you, Boosty.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Jay Crowder should get some Cole too. That whole thing is so ridiculous. Like, I still can't believe that we're dealing with those social media posts, but welcome to the age of social media.
Sean, are you getting Cole or cash this week with Underdog Fantasy?
I'm getting cash. I've been on a little bit of a burner recently, putting money on some things, getting some more money back. You know, that's how I do. But yeah, I'm about to make some money. I'm about to make some money tonight on the Underdog Fantasy app.
What you got going on tonight?
Oh, well.
Suns or Yotes or both?
I'm gonna stay.
Or neither.
I'm going to stay away from the Suns for right now, but the Yotes game, but not on the Yotes. I'm gonna be rocking with some Boston Bruins props. First pick 'em higher on David Pastrnak goals on a half. I think they're gonna run all over this team. Maybe go higher on Patrice Bergeron shots. Higher on Jacob Chikrin shots though, because he's been playing very well, like I said. They don't have anything for any of the goalies, but if it was, take the Bruins goalies lower on shots or lower on saves, Coyotes goalies higher on saves, because that's just how Coyotes games go. Yeah. I feel like Coyotes games tend to be a little predictable, so you can make some good money on it.
I agree. Very predictable. They were a little more predictable at the start of the season when they were like on a hot streak there. But they're usually the over under in general. If you're talking about goals scored, you're going to put money down on any sort of goals scored, or higher or lower on goals scored rather. That's always a way to go when it comes to the Coyotes, because there's always one team or another, there's going to be goals scored. But if you want to get in on the action, it's easy to get started. Go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app, sign up with promo code PHNX, and Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100.
Dude, I don't know what it is about the people that watch our show, but they are so funny. I can't with the comments. Scroll up a little bit, Sean. Elizabeth saying weenie heads definitely deserve Cole.
Wait, Jeff weenie head or meanie head?
Weenie head.
I said meanie head, but
look what Jeff said. Jeff said chicken is a cotton-headed niggy muckets.
Do you know what that's from?
Yeah, it's from Elf.
Okay,
oh my God, so funny. Everyone coming up with different things to say besides muggins. Bad names. Some other honorable mentions for Cole. We've got Sarver. That's a good one. Scroll up a little bit. And all other AZ media outlets from Brian. Oh, thanks, Brian. We agree. Ours is the best. Yeah, love that. Okay. All right. Let's go to our next question. This one's from Low Tone Capone. Speaking of the Cardinals, do the Cardinals have any chance to finish the season on a high note, or has there just been too much damage from Kliff or anyone else that staff/players to overcome? Oh, that's a good question, Low Tone Capone. There is a chance. There is a chance that they end the season on a high note if they can somehow get it together and string some wins together with the limited games that they have left coming off this bye. Will they? I don't really have faith.
I feel like I want to reframe this question, because there's always a chance.
Yeah.
And whether we have faith that they will is a totally different situation.
I'm going to go ahead and say no. I don't think that there's anything really that can happen that will end the season on a high note for the Cardinals.
You're forgetting something pretty big. They could fire their coach.
Well, we're going to get to that in a second. Don't get too far ahead of us.
Yeah, but do you think that's going to be like
a high note? I think that's a high note in my opinion. At this point, I think it's a high note.
No, I disagree. I just think that we came into the season with expectations here, and the Cardinals have performed here. And even if they string some wins together, there's nothing that's going to get this team back up to here, because I don't know about you guys, but my expectations coming into the season were at least making it to the third round of the playoffs. And considering that they're not even going to make it to the playoffs at all this year is sad.
I remember people saying that they were, once they got like Hollywood, that they were legit Super Bowl contenders. And that's why I refused to drink the Kool-Aid with this team. Like, I was not even ready to nearly touch that, but there were high expectations. And
super high expectations.
We saw it continue. We saw it start to unravel. Like, obviously, you can say that bleeds into the way that last season ended. But even if you say, okay, well, that was last year, it was a completely different season. With all the stuff that happened in the offseason, it was a complete foreshadow of what was to come. And things never got better from there.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had this offseason full of crazy drama. You all know what I'm talking about. We don't need to rehash that.
When does it stop?
And then we had Kliff and Keim both getting extensions. And then a couple months later, Kyler got the extension that he so badly wanted. Okay, so we're coming into the season. Everyone's locked up. Everybody has a contract. Like, time to deliver. Time to put up or shut up. And they shut up. They did not deliver in the slightest on any of our expectations in any way, shape, or form. And this whole season has been the biggest flop of all time.
I would say lost to the Patriots, although they are not the Patriots of old. I would say the Broncos is a winnable game. I would say the Bucks, they're not going to win. I would say the Falcons, No, yeah, I don't know about that one. And then Niners lose.
Yeah.
Well, so I wanted to. First I need to. Y'all weren't supposed to see Bubble Me. I figured out a way I can be on the screen while I'm also on the screen. But now you get
look
bubble
at you,
screen. So,
Bubble Shot.
So you are on the screen.
I am on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I messed up the last time they saw me. They weren't supposed to see me, but now here we are.
The ominous man behind the computer.
Hi, Bubble Sean.
Hi, Bubble Sean. I wanted
You're like the good witch. So go into the good witch in the bubble.
I have like an angel and a devil on my shoulder. Y'all can decide who is who. But I wanted to ask Boostie's question. It is a good chance to end it, but do you want them to end on a high note? Do you want to give them a little bit of reason to think that maybe Kliff is the guy, maybe Keim's not that bad, and also I guess get a worse draft pick? Do you want them to end on a high note at this point?
That's a good point. If I take into consideration, like, if ending on a good note puts doubt into the mind of Bidwell on making a decision on the future of his GM and the coach, then no. I want them to spectacularly crash and burn this season, if that is what it takes for Bidwell to look at that decision that he made and those extensions and say, I made a mistake. I'm going to let you guys go. So if that's what it takes, then I'm happy with them crashing and burning, because I think Boosie brings up a great point. The worst thing that could possibly happen is they finish the season on a high note, and that creates enough doubt for Micah Bidwell to be like, okay, well, maybe we can take this momentum going into next season, and I don't need to make any big changes. I don't need to address anything. We're going to take that positive and just let it ride. So
it depends what your definition of a high note is as well. Like Sean obviously mentioned firing their head coach, but I've heard it said many times over again that ending on a high note would simply be Kyler Murray performing his butt off and just giving us confidence that he truly is the guy and he is the person that we thought he had the potential to be, or the quarterback rather. And so some people might just say, you know what, if Kyler Murray can kind of right his ship personally and ball out for the rest of the season, and we feel really good about who we have at quarterback moving forward and moving into next season, then that's ending on a high note. So is it wins and losses for you, or is it something else?
Yeah, I guess it depends on what your definition of what a high note is. I could definitely get on the bandwagon of Kyler Murray at least putting us to bed with our doubts by balling out. And if that results in losses, that's fine. Whatever, at least we can have some hope in our quarterback going into next season. But I just this is hard for me to talk about, because I genuinely, I didn't drink the Kool-Aid, but I wanted the Cardinals to be so good. I wanted it so bad for them. And I've just been so majorly disappointed. And it freaking sucks to feel this way. I'm not a fan of being disappointed by this NFL team. So,
well, you hate to see any team go through as much internal turmoil as well. You just, regardless of how frustrated you are with the team's performance, and I think maybe we saw this too with a little bit with Hard Knocks and Budda Baker pouring his heart out to the team. You just you don't want to see some of the misconduct and the firings, and then the losses, and then guys taking it more seriously than other guys. And
Hard Knocks has been a fucking disaster.
Yeah, that was, anyway, it's I just feel for the guys as a whole. And I even feel for Kliff. I know people are like, oh, but he sucks and this or that or whatever. I genuinely, I don't want to see any franchise go through this kind of turmoil in general. So.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Kliff, our friend Dario asked us, who is the Cardinals coach next year? I feel pretty comfortable saying that I believe it's still going to be Kliff Kingsbury, as much as I don't want that to be the case. And I hate saying that with every fiber of my being, and it makes me want to cry. I just don't think we are... I don't think... Okay, listen, if they let Kliff go, if they fire Kliff, that is going to look so bad on Michael Bidwell. It's going to make him look like he doesn't know what he's doing. And I obviously don't know Michael Bidwell personally, but I'm assuming that's not a shot to his ego that he's willing to take right now. So I think if keeping Kliff keeps his ego intact, I think he'll keep him. So, and also too, you have the whole issue of the contract and the money that he's owed. It doesn't seem like a lot of money, but also too,
comparatively, Kliff doesn't have a big money deal.
Yeah, comparatively, he doesn't. So, I don't think he can use the excuse of not wanting to burn that money to not let him go, but I just don't think he's gonna want to. I don't know. I just don't see him swallowing that pill.
Kool-Aid. has Bidwell drank the Kool-Aid of like Kliff's not the problem, and like really believes that, or has he been able to kind of see the light and realize that, okay, maybe Kliff's not the guy? So like, I don't know what his perception is of what's going wrong. Obviously, you're always going to put blame on your head coach, but is he looking at it and saying like, okay, well, we had a lot of injuries, a lot of like other factors have played into the poor performances this season. So I don't think it all rides on Kliff. I think he deserves another shot. I believe in where he can take this team. Or like, has he completely seen through it and been like, yeah, we need better leadership. This is unacceptable. A lot of this is a trickle effect from our head coach down. And, I don't know how he's thinking.
Yeah, I don't know how he's thinking
but
either.
I feel pretty certain, in my opinion, like if you're like, okay, you got to put money on it one way or another, will Kliff be the head coach next year? I would say, yeah, I would put my money on Kliff being the head coach next year.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of other external factors that play into it too. I know a couple people mentioned Sean Payton in the comments. I think that's a little bit of a long shot just because obviously he retired on his deal with the Saints. So if we were to get him, we would owe more money to the Saints. We would have to pay the Saints, and then also we would have to pay Sean Payton, and then also we would owe Kliff whatever is written in his contract. So that's a pretty deep money hole that you're digging for yourself.
And does he want to come here?
And does he want to come here? Like, I don't think the Cardinals have given him any reason to really want to come here. And also he lives in Los Angeles.
Well, he's got a relationship with the Bidwells and a little bit of dating back to his college days, a connection to the team, not the Arizona Cardinals, but the Cardinals in general. So there's a little bit of that, which people are hanging all of their hope on. These connections from a long time ago means that he's going to want to come here. But I think for any coach, you should look at it, especially if his caliber, you should take a look at, well, do I feel like I'm going to be set up for success here? And so you take a look at just all of those types of things is, do the Cardinals have a track record of putting their head coaches in a position to succeed?
Yeah.
And I think that above anything else is should be your biggest factor when you're choosing, especially because he's in a position where he can choose.
Yeah, and he's been linked to the Los Angeles Chargers as well, and he lives in LA, so obviously there's a little bit more to work with over there. So there's just a lot of like variables when it comes to Sean Payton, and I just don't know if the money pit is going to be worth what they're going to have to dig themselves out of. But I guess we'll see. If you want to put your money down on something because you're in the betting mood, head on over to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and get in on some betting action. There is a lot of NBA stuff that you can put your money on right now, which I definitely would recommend getting in on. I think it makes watching basketball more enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. I was getting ahead of myself a little bit because I always forget to place my bets before the games get started, and then we end up talking about it on this show, and then it reminds me, and then I'm like, oh, I should just do it right now while we're live doing our show. But the Suns are 1.5 point favorites against the Pelicans tonight, if anyone was wondering, and they are minus 125 their money line. And I was also interested in seeing what the over-under on points for Devin Booker was tonight, and I clicked off of that, but I believe it was like 28 or 28.5, which means I hope that he's going to have a
smash
good game
that
tonight,
over, baby.
So I would take the over on that and just go all in on Devin Booker's going to help right the ship for the Phoenix Suns and get a win and have a big night. I would love to see that.
Me too. If you want to get in on this action, which I highly recommend you do, download the app now. Sign up with promo code PHNX. Place a $5 pre-game money line bet on any NBA team to win their game, and you'll get $150 in free bets if they do. That's code PHNX only at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See our show notes for details. All right, let's get to one, maybe two more, and then we will wrap this thing up and send you guys on to your weekend. We got another ASU/Pac-12 question. Who will win more games next season, Deion or Dillingham? Deion or Dillingham? That sounds like a rap group. And who is better set up for success? From our guy, Daniel Caston. I think This is a pretty easy question for me to answer, but Cheers, I'll kick it over to you and see what you think.
That's an easy question for you to answer?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be Dillingham by a mile. And I'm not just saying that because I went to ASU and I'm an ASU girl. I just think that Dillingham is taking over a program that is in a further along position than Colorado is going to be. And I know, we haven't seen the recruits yet. We don't know who, Deion's going to sign, who Dillingham's going to sign. Like, there's still a lot of variables with the recruit class and stuff like that. But I think Dillingham is in a little bit better position for success. And, I think the unknown variables about each coach kind of stack up evenly. Like, Dillingham's unknown is that he's a 32-year-old head coach, very young. Deion's is that he is coming from a very small HBCU program that hasn't really stacked up, that can't really compare to like a Power 5 program. So I think there's the unknowns to each are kind of like meh. So then if you look at the next thing, I think Dillingham has a better chance of success with where the programs are at currently.
So I think that both of these teams are going to look wildly different next year. And so it's hard to even say like, oh, well, one team had more success than the other. And it wasn't by much, but I would say a large chunk of players on both teams are not going to be there next year. So it's hard. Like, you don't know the schedule. You don't know who's going to be on the team next year, especially with Deion saying that, like, bringing my luggage.
Yeah.
Might as well
that
just jump
speech was
ship
wild.
now. Yeah. So I think it's really hard to like actually look at anything tangible other than just who you think is going to be a better coach. And I think that Deion Sanders' long-term ceiling is much higher than Dillingham's. And I think that Deion is going to bring in more like top-tier recruits than ASU will have. And I also think that they're in a position where they could go on to have a meteoric rise over in Boulder, or it could just crash and burn. And so it's hard to say, but I would put my money on the potential of Deion Sanders having success at this exact moment. And again, it could very much crash and burn, and I don't have full faith that it won't for sure. But I'm just going to say Deion Sanders.
That's fair. I mean, if I can say one thing complimentary about Deion is I love how much this move has revitalized the Pac-12 as a conference. Obviously Colorado was in the basement for this entire year, and people talk about all the time about how Pac-12 is like the joke of the Power 5 and the teams cannibalize themselves and you can never really tell who's going to have success and blah, blah, blah. But it's just cool to see a Pac-12 school have so much attention. It's I at least I enjoy that. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but I'm just happy to see the Pac-12 kind of get a little bit of a real revitalization from Deion coming here. Sean, do you have any thoughts on this?
Ooh,
he's itching to open
baby,
his
do
mouth.
I have thoughts?
Bubble Sean's back.
I mean,
hey, Bubble Sean.
We should do like a little every time you pop up.
I'll make this up. Yeah, I mean, I think Dillingham is going to be better just based off where these programs were last year. And I'm also not at all convinced that Deion is going to have success at Colorado. Like,
there's no guarantee.
Like, I think the reason there was a lot of reasons that he had success at Jackson State that do not apply here, like the fact that it was an HBCU. Like, there was something to sell there to these kids. Like, and also, like, the context of when he was there was important. Like, he became the coach at Jackson State around the time of the George Floyd shooting, like at a time where there was a lot of people who wanted to like kind of reclaim their blackness and all of this stuff, and there was something to sell at Jackson State that he no longer has at Colorado. And like we said, like he doesn't have any experience. He coached at the SWAC for a little bit, where you can win games based solely off of who your head coach is and like the one or two pieces of talent he was able to bring in. Because it's not like he turned this into like a Power 5 school. They were still a SWAC school with a couple of talent, couple pieces of talent that probably would not have gone to the SWAC otherwise. I can get into a whole conversation about the Deion and the move.
I disagree that he doesn't have anything to sell. I think if you stuck Peyton Manning at the helm of has Peyton Manning ever shown that he has credentials to be a head coach? Nobody's freaking Peyton Manning, and he's had success in the sport. Yep. He also has a lot of connections. And do you think that Peyton Manning can, because he's had success, then put people like that he was once in their shoes in a position to succeed as well.
Yeah, but that's what they said about Herm Edwards and that crash and burn.
No, that's still Herm Edwards is totally a total different.
But it's the same thing though. Like ESPN, former NFL player, high profile, high energy, big personality.
No, I'm talking about somebody that's got a big time name. Deion Sanders is one of the best athletes of our era in general. So he could say, listen, I not only have a proven track record of success in this sport, which I can then tell you and pass along to you and put you in a position to succeed, but I've got all of these connections, baby. But
that's the same thing as Herm. Herm was like the NFL model. Like, I'm going to bring in all these head coaches that used to be in the NFL, and we're going to sell you this NFL experience. We're going to set you up and get you the connections.
Herm hadn't coached in 10 years and was old. But
it's similar. It's similar themes. Like I know that Deion's name is way bigger. I'm not arguing with you on that. Like, yes, Deion is way, way, way bigger than Herm Edwards. But I think what they're trying to sell is the same thing. Like, I played in the NFL. I'm going to bring in all these connections. I have all these coaches that also played in the NFL. Like, I have all this experience. I'm going to help you get to the NFL. And then it just crashed and burned. Like, it was a high profile hire, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, definitely the names are on two different levels, but they're both high profile hires. And we saw what happened with Herm Edwards, and Deion and Herm, very eccentric, very loud, very happy. Like,
there's not a single kid who knew of Herm Edwards as a football player that would have been playing for him. People know Deion Sanders.
I mean,
kids know Deion Sanders.
To be fair, like, I don't know Deion as a player. Like, he didn't play while I've been. I think he played in like 2000.
But he played enough to where people were still talking, or like recent enough to where people were still talking. He was still a relevant athlete. Yeah, people know. But I phrased what I meant wrong. It's not that he has nothing to sell. I just think what his biggest selling point was at Jackson State, and the reason he was successful there, he no longer has here. And also, like, their tolerance for Deion and his antics is going to be much lower at Colorado than it is at Jackson State. I agree.
Like, there's just a lot. It's going to be a very deep philosophical conversation.
That stuff only works when you're winning, and as soon as it doesn't, you're going to get mocked the heck out of town.
That is also true. Deion's never lost. He has not lost. He has never had to be a coach while losing. So we don't know how that's going to be, because they are going to lose games. They're going to lose a lot of games. This team won one last year. One conference game last year, I think. Yeah. Like, we don't know how that is going to go. And he's also going to have more talent. Like, there's just so much different about the situation that I'm not sold he's going to be successful. I'm not saying he can't be, but I'm just not sold he's going to be. And I just have a lot of problems with Deion and how this all went down, which could be a whole other conversation I'm not going to get into right now. But I just don't know that this is going to be, like, it's a big name. It's going to be fun. Sure. I just don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be interesting for sure. We'll see how that shakes out. All right. Well, on that note, you ready to send it to the weekend?
I think so. I'm ready to send it to the weekend. Gonna try and golf this weekend.
Oh, yeah?
I'm trying to have like a really low-key, just fun weekend. And I was like, you know what? I'm either going to potentially golf and at least hit the driving range. And you know that every time I get out there on the course, I'm always wearing my Bad Birdie gear, which, by the way, I keep saying that. I see it everywhere. I was on a walk this morning, saw a guy in a Bad Birdie hat pass me. I mean,
it's everywhere.
The clothing, the accessories, including the hats, like, just A+.
So good.
They've got new golf bags on their website as well, badbirdiegolf.com. The best looking golf bags you will ever see. You can use the code PHNX BadBirdie15 for 15% off. Again, that's badbirdiegolf.com. We here at PHNX absolutely love their clothing.
And we are all going to be rocking it at our PHNX tea party. I am so freaking stoked about this, you guys. If you haven't heard, we are hosting a tea party on January 13th at 5:30 p.m. at the Dobson Ranch driving range. We are renting out the whole range. We're going to be having a watch party at the same time. So you're going to be able to hit some golf balls. You're going to be able to watch the Suns take on the Timberwolves. There's going to be food there. There's going to be drinks there. There's going to be swag bags. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be so much cool stuff.
Holy smokes.
We are so freaking excited about this, and you have to come. You absolutely have to be there. Ticket prices are on the screen. It's $45 per person. Or if you're a diehard, which if you haven't signed up to be a diehard yet, you are really missing out, because one of the best perks of being a diehard is you get discounted tickets to events, and our diehards are only paying $36 for their get your tickets. You can register a foursome, or you can also bring your kids. The kids 10 and under, they're going to have a clinic there for kids. So bring out the whole family.
Aww.
It's going to be a family fun event. It's going to be so much fun, you guys. Please don't miss out on this. It's our first ever tea party. You can get your tickets by clicking the links in our bio. Or if you head on over to our events tab on our website at gophnx.com, you can also click on our events calendar and get your tickets there. It's going to be freaking fun as heck.
Massively excited for this one. Mac, you should try and like pick up a club and
I'm gonna be swinging. It's gonna be horrible, and it's gonna be very uncoordinated, and I'll probably miss
like at least 5 feet away.
I'll probably miss the golf ball multiple times, and we're gonna have to put up like a cage around me so I don't accidentally murder someone by letting go of the club or hitting the golf ball in the wrong direction.
Not really selling this event right now.
It's gonna be a lot of fun if you can possibly die.
Mac's gonna have to go to her own party.
Yeah, they're gonna have to rent out a different range for me. But I'm gonna be there.
I think
so
this could be the sport for you. Your heart rate doesn't go up that much unless you're just like.
Why do we let Mac get away with pretending that she's not athletic?
Do you know how much walking is involved in golf? That's a hard pass.
They got carts.
Sometimes they don't. Sometimes you have to walk.
No, I want to just address what I just said. Why do we let Mac get away with pretending that she's lazy enough and athletic? She was an athlete. She was an athlete.
She is
a long time ago.
Maybe lazy. She might be lazy, but not athletic. Athletic.
Why are we just throwing me under the bus right now? I was throwing myself under the bus.
To make sure that we said she was lazy and that was solidified.
I'm pulling you out of the bus because you're sitting here pretending I'm this potato. I can't do anything. I'm not athletic. That's not true.
That was so long ago, though. I'm so far removed from that.
Okay, fair, but. Still.
But yeah, so
I actually don't know how to comment on whether she has genuine athletic abilities because I've never seen it put to the test. So we'll have to, I think
it's more of a matter of want, not ability.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, that's fair. That's why I'm lazy because I have no want or desire. But I am going to be swinging some clubs and hitting some golf balls.
Mac was pretty good at pickleball.
Thank you. That was such a nice compliment. Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying though. Like if she wants it, she can.
And then and then she was like, I was like, oh, play pickleball with me. She's like, yeah, we're gonna do it. And then guess what? We never freaking played.
My mom's saying that she had to teach me how to run. That's not true. I was born with a deformed leg, and I had to overcome that, Mom. So get out of the comments, okay? I had to fix a deformed
leg. All that. You talk about throwing yourself on the bus.
All right.
My foot was like this. Okay. Anyway, all right. Let's go to the weekend. Come to our tea party. Get your tickets in our bio. Go get your Bad Birdie golf gear. I hope you guys have a great weekend. We're gonna have a great weekend, right? Cheers. It's gonna be very relaxing. Shout out to our boss, by the way, Brandon Spano. It's his birthday. He's 40. He's old. So happy birthday, Brandon.
Birthday to you.
We hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. You guys are absolutely the best. I'm not even kidding you when I say this show would not be the same if it weren't for all of your incredible comments. I don't know what it is about the people that watch the show, but you all are so funny.
It's Mac very emotional.
I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget, we'll be live again next Friday at 12:30-ish. We will see you then. Oh, like this video. Leave us a 5-star review. We really appreciate it. Like it. Subscribe. Okay, goodbye. Happy weekend, everybody.
See ya.